Right, well, now we all back in. We put the world to rights and give people some life advice. Should we talk about some electrical stuff?
We should indeed. You
should probably leave now then. Do you know what? Someone said to me when we first started filming this, someone said, you got a great balance. They called me a nerd, which is cool, thanks. Jimbo doing Jimbo things with his electrical stuff, and you're like the exact words were the Bell End Apprentice playing on their phone in the corner. I was like, right, okay, cool. I don't know why you were Bell End. I think he doesn't like his own apprentice. I think he reminded him electrically sort of competence wise of his Bell End Apprentice.
Well, whoever that is, thank you. They'll probably comment on this podcast as well.
You're welcome.
Still a bellend.
Still on your phone. Mate, it's not me. Oh, dear. So the biggest news, obviously, in the electrical world this week has been...
Amendment 3.
Amendment 3, which I think should be reclassified as the world's smallest typo.
Like, when I seen this, right, I was like... I've seen what we're going to speak about in a minute. I was like... So where's the rest of it then? I was like, look, it's got to be something else.
Mate, the whole presentation was a minute and a half.
I was just like, what? What a waste of time.
But you say that, right? I was having this conversation with a guy called Mark Ashworth the other day, and it was yesterday. And I said, why didn't you... They invented a word last... I know they didn't invent the word, but the corrigendum, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because they made a minor alteration to something to do with smoke detection.
Yeah.
This is the corrigendum. This is not an amendment. I don't understand why it's...
Yeah, because they've always done that, where you'd have to print off
the
changes and put it in your book. I thought that's basically what this is, though.
It's 100% what it is, because they're saying Amendment 3, which is this paragraph, is now going to work alongside your existing BS 7671 and come in immediately and to be working in conjunction with it, which is not an amendment.
Right, okay.
Not in a traditional sense.
I see what you're saying.
But the one thing that's absolutely... bonkers. No, I was going to go bonkers, but it's not bonkers. The one thing that surprises me the most is the way the anxiety around it and the fact that we need to be pushing this through with a 4-week period and this needs to be added in right now and this, that and the other. Because it's all about bidirectional protection devices. Okay. And obviously with the big drive to solar and the sun's out now, obviously, so maybe someone thought, oh, sun's out. We better get this in now. We've got 4 weeks. That's because it'll probably rain in 5. So, but yeah, it just seems like it's big push and big kind of fear factor of you got to get this and it's up for public review now. And what are the dates?
I think 8th of May to the 5th of June.
Yeah, because it's out now, isn't it? So we're filming this on the 10th of May.
Yeah.
So it's out now and it closes when? Sorry.
I believe it's the 5th of June.
5th of June. So so it is 4 weeks then. So have you ever commented on a public draft?
No, so I'd like to say those people know a lot more than I do.
Have you seen some of your comments on your TikTok?
No.
Hey, not all people are made the same. No, but I'm pretty confident you would be in a safe place.
If I was to comment something on it, I'd be like, I'm not going to make a change to what they know. I'm guessing those people have been like university. They're very well experienced.
Mate, he's been to university.
I got first as well.
Yeah. And I guarantee you know more about electrics than him.
No, you get my point. It's probably I probably should take more of a care to it and look into it. But it's the same with voting in politics, isn't it?
Oh, there's a topic. Hey, there you go. Part 3.
What voting?
Yeah, should we try that into part 3 quickly at the end? Politics.
If you want.
Politics and electrical. Well, there's some electrical politics. Boom! Right, that's moving on. I'm dropping gems.
Quick one. With the draft publication, I don't know if you guys know this. When you submit your feedback, is it anonymous or can you choose to be anonymous?
I don't know. Like James, I've never done it.
I don't know.
I've never been asked my opinion. Yeah, I'd say. I'm pretty sure they don't know it exists.
I don't know how it works though as well. Because is it just open to all members of the public or is it solely
it's a public draft, isn't it?
Oh, okay. So in which case...
I would have thought it would be.
Who's reading through all this? I'm guessing the IET.
Wait, it's only a bloody paragraph, isn't it? I mean...
I suppose,
it's not even a bedtime story. It's literally a paragraph with a little suffix at the end, and that's literally it. And it's all to do with the thing is from reading through it's already kind of included in Amendment 3 anyway, in the prosumer at the end.
Right.
And there's also another section about generators. When you use generators, because you've got current flow in both directions, that you need to obviously take that into consideration.
Yeah.
So it's already kind of there. I think it's because of this big push to a bidirectional RCBO. That's what everyone's saying. Oh, do you have a bidirectional RCBO? If you don't have one, we can't fit solar. How have we been doing it for 30 years? I'll wait. Anyone know? Take a guess.
I'm the Bell End Apprentice, mate. What do I know? I'm still on my phone.
Facts, right. Do you know?
Not a clue.
Okay.
No.
So you work here, Navitas, where we
Yes,
sell
yeah,
product. Do we have any bidirectional devices?
MCB.
Thank you very much. Has it always been bidirectional, or did we just do it that way?
No, it's always been
There you go.
bidirectional.
Right.
Oh, is it?
So 95% of MCBs in the market are bidirectional as standard, and always have been.
Because I seen something. The markings on the
That's
actual
it.
device is what determines if it's bidirectional, non-bidirectional.
Yeah.
And I can remember there's only a certain amount I do see with markings on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how much notice I actually take. But thinking about it, I don't actually see it that much.
No, so it's so MCBs don't have any, right?
Yeah.
So MCBs don't. Well, not all. Okay, remember, guys, fact check your manufacturers, yada yada yada. But most MCBs are completely bidirectional. RCBOs, as a standard, never have been because RCCBs aren't, and AFDDs, by nature, which are an RCBO mixed with a microprocessor, are also an RCBO, therefore are unidirectional. So it's only because there's obviously been a drive in the UK to use RCBOs on domestic circuits, which I'm a big advocate for.
Yeah.
Okay, getting yourself your earth leakage protection on that. However, if you go back, right, split load boards aren't great for two factors. Well, let's just stick with the one. You're grouping a bunch of circuits on one RCD. Okay, therefore, if one goes out, you're taking a whole bank out, etc., etc., etc. Right. You eliminate that entirely by putting them on RCBOs. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, on an MCB, that you on a bidirectional device going onto a solar situation, which is where it's going for, you need to put RCD protection on certain types of installs. Mm-hmm. So every install doesn't need an RCBO or an RCD protection. So normally you would put RCD protection onto a circuit if you're using twin and earth and it's buried into the wall, right? Or if that inverter doesn't have an integrated RCD in already,
Right.
which a lot do. And you only really need to look at it when you've got a situation where current flow is going in both directions, right? So that means, if you're looking at something like a hybrid inverter, for example, which has a battery integral to it, or you've got a battery storage system and it's going from grid, charging from grid and from solar and back and forth and yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
So you've got current going everywhere. Well, you need to be able to protect it going in all those directions. Well, then MCB does that. Now, if you've got an RCD, obviously integral to the device, and you use an SWA, for example, you don't need RCD protection on that circuit.
You just go away with the MCB.
So the MCB goes on absolutely fine. And the MCB has worked since I was around when they were doing solar last time in 2006, 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Before the tariffs dropped out. And guess what? This wasn't a problem because everyone was using split load boards or garage units, which by nature have MCBs in them, which are bidirectional.
Yeah.
So why might there be a big drive to RCBOs that are now bidirectional? Well, if, people are launching new product to drive new product and new sales into the market, that could be a reason, potentially. But this isn't a critical problem that needs a massive amendment doing. Well, it's not a massive amendment, it's a paragraph. One thing, though, that I thought that is quite good, because I do think it's a bit grey. If you didn't know that a device unmarked is bidirectional and therefore a device that is marked is unidirectional, what they're now changing in the regs is that RCBOs, RCCBs and AFDDs, if they are bidirectional, have to be clearly marked.
Okay.
So if you look at Hager's bidirectional RCBO that they've just launched, for example, it clearly states on the top of it that it is bidirectional.
Right, okay.
Okay. But again, the marking should tell you. And if you're not sure, just ask the manufacturer. And if that manufacturer can't tell you, use a different manufacturer.
Yeah. So
this is mainly aimed at solar PV installers.
It's entirely aimed at solar PV. And to be fair, certain EV chargers as well. Because certain cars are designed to take load from the car back into the house as well.
Charge on the battery of the car.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you can use the car battery as a battery to the house.
Yeah.
So in that instance as well, you've got current flow going in both directions.
Yeah.
Therefore, but don't panic, guys. Just use a standard MCB and you should be fine.
Yeah.
The only thing to think about at that point, though, is if that element of DC leakage on that circuit exceeds 6 milliamps worth of pulsating DC and smooths out, you can't use a standard Type A RCCB anymore. You're going to be looking at a Type B. Because as soon as it smooths out, it's going to saturate it and it's going to have that blinding effect. And at that point, it's rendered useless. Yeah. So that's the only thing to be wary of, really. But on an EV charger, unlikely. It depends on the size of your PV system.
Okay. Just a quick one. With the bidirectional RCBOs, you said that Hago got marking. Does it just say bidirectional, or is there a certain sign?
No. It's like a little blue block on the spine of it.
Yeah.
And just says bidirectional.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I've only seen a picture of it. I've not seen one in the flesh.
Oh, okay.
But,
okay. That's fair.
But yeah, I've noticed a few other people are marketing theirs. And I think it's a big product push, to be truthfully honest. Because I'm not a big fan, personally. And mate, you'd be the perfect person to ask. If you were going to fit solar into a house now, would you put that into the existing board, or do you split it across and put it on a separate board entirely?
I think it depends on the installation. Like, if the current distribution board is good there, I may use that. I don't fit PV, so I don't really know. But it all depends on the condition. If it's a crap board there and the customer doesn't want to replace it, maybe I just add in a separate board then. Yeah. So it kind of depends.
I'm not a very big fan of putting it into the existing installation. I think you should separate solar out, personally.
Any reason why?
Lots of reasons why. Maintenance, one of them. But
yeah,
I just think, mainly because the element of DC is so much more present in that situation than it will be the AC side on a domestic installation, right? So personally, I think you should split it out. I do think we don't use Type B enough. And people talk about cost. Well, hang on. If you actually work out the cost of a Type B RCD, okay, and you bank in 2 or 3 MCB circuits off that, it works out about the same sort of cost as if you're doing an RCBO situation anyway. I mean, I don't know what our RCBOs get sold for in a market, somewhere between 11, 13 quid or whatever. But if you've got 3 or 4 of those, that's going to be the price of a Type B RCD anyway, what is from us. And then all of a sudden you've got a couple of MCBs on there that are a couple of quid, and you've got the right level of RCD protection on those solar devices, and then you're not worrying about that DC smoothing out.
Yeah.
Personally, that's a much simpler situation, putting that in and having that as a separate PV or renewable board that doesn't then conflict with any of your AC circuits in the house. Personally.
That makes sense. No,
yeah, but it's yeah. So like I said, we've done. Well, I've done a video on this bidirectional thing. I wanted to go to town on it, really, because I do think it's a little bit of this craziness about it, this kind of anxiety which wants to build up of this whole bidirectional RCBOs. If you don't have one, we're all gonna blow up.
Yeah.
Well, they're not telling you to go back over every install you've ever done. What they're saying is, don't put unidirectional RCBOs on a PV install. They won't work. That's it.
Yeah.
Fact.
Okay. That's fair. So, okay, say for instance, let's speak hypothetically, this gets passed.
Yeah, we'll get passed.
What do you think is the impact on the market then?
I think what will happen is there'll be a shit ton of misinformation where people now think that if they don't have a bidirectional RCBO, they cannot fit solar to it, right? Which will then lead the people that have a bidirectional RCBO to set a market price that is unfair.
Yeah.
Boom.
Fair play.
That's what I think. I think there'll be a bit of scaremongering in there to drive a higher price into a product that you can work around quite easily.
What's the cost differences between a bidirectional and non-bidirectional RCBO?
Well, manufacturing wise,
yeah.
Based on what ours looks like it's going to cost, there's what, $3.50?
Oh, so it's not too much.
It's not huge, no, but it's the tooling and the testing and everything else, right? So once the actual components aspect of it is, like I said, about $3.50, but then it's a completely different device essentially. So you then have to send it off. That gets tested, that gets certified. That costs a lot of money, and then obviously then you put it back. You got to jig it, rig it, and then everything goes into production, and then whatever your costs are from there. So yeah, it's not just like, oh yes, it's an extra $2.50. Boom. There is an R&D cost there that'll be factored in for sure, but. Yeah, I mean, I do think it's a bit of money for old rope, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So, but that's my personal opinion, and it doesn't mean anything. It's just mine. It doesn't mean we're not going to be doing a bidirectional RCBO because we know for a fact we're going to get hammered for it. But we've been supplying loads and loads of PV guys and housing associations, everything else with these bespoke boards with RCD and MCB configurations.
I've seen your post on Instagram to do with something solar.
Yeah, solar board. Yeah.
Into it, 'cause like I said, I don't do solar. What's that incorporated?
So that's got a Type B 100 amp, 100 milliamp RCCB in there with some MCBs that are bidirectional with a rotary isolator in the board.
Okay.
So so you don't have to put the rotary isolator external. It's also got an MID meter in it, which most people don't need anymore because they are, again, integral into the inverter. So that would just replace your generation meter.
I know, because I have seen PV installs who have like a couple of isolators.
Yeah.
Meters.
Well, you normally have a DC and an AC isolator.
Yeah.
So you've got the AC isolator in the board. Then you'll have the meter, which replaces the generation
So
meter.
you kind of got all that
In one box.
Oh, that's alright. That's tight.
Yeah, and that's why it's been quite popular, to be fair. But we also do it empty in component form, so you can build it up as you need to, which has also been really popular, isn't it?
Yeah.
But people love the idea that they can just put the isolator in a board.
Yeah.
It's a bit fiddly to install it in a way, though, because it's all conductor fed rather than busbar fed, obviously. But yeah, it's just another little solution. But you don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel with it. But you know, does it make installation safer? Yeah. Does it make it simpler and easier? Does it mean you need less space? Yes. Is it a fantastic convenience device, the bidirectional RCBO? Yes, but it's nothing new. And I'm shocked, absolutely shocked at the kind of urgency to pass it as an entire amendment, when all it really needs is like a corrigendum situation where, guys, stop using unidirectional RCBOs on solar. It's not okay.
Do you think something's happened then? Is it, or could it be like instances are happening that has forced them to do it quicker?
Yeah. Is there like a rationale that they give for it, or reason as to why?
Do you know what it probably is? I bet you it's just a lack of understanding from the market that RCBOs aren't like MCBs.
Right. Okay.
Because until this flagged up, no one knew to ask the question. Yeah. It didn't have to, because MCBs were bidirectional, so it never caused an issue. So I think that's more possibly it. But again, I'm just absolutely I was blown away the fact that it's an entire amendment. And like you were saying, I was watching a presentation and waiting for the rest of it, and it ended. I was like, oh, cool. I blocked out half hour for this.
It's surprising they don't bring out another book to sell either.
Well, yeah.
Even if it is one paragraph.
Money. So someone somewhere's cheesed off. Because they don't even have to send it to you. You can actually download this one yourself.
Oh, right.
But that's what I mean. They're pushing it through with this urgency. Surely your likes of Napit, Lesser, NIC or whatever, can publish a white paper to say, guys, when you're fitting solar, use bidirectional devices like X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Or just use an MCB. But again, it just needs to be explained a little bit as well that you're not going to have RCD protection on every single circuit either, because of the type of, depends on the install design. Yeah. So, but we'll see what happens. I don't think I'll be invited to any of these meetings anytime soon. No, cheers, mate. so yeah. So guys, what do you think about bidirectional devices? Did you know that MCBs were bidirectional? And are you fitting bidirectional RCBOs? Will you never fit another PV install without one? And what do you think about the whole Amendment 3 being the size of a crisp packet? And we'll see you guys in part 2.
Thank you for watching part 1, and if you want to listen to part 2 early, make sure you go and listen on all streaming platforms.